All right, aloha everyone. Michelle Melendez with blossominnerwellness.com and Stand Together Hawaii.com. Super excited today because I have again my guest, Ellie Cochran, who's the state representative. She is lived in Lahaina, grew up in Lahaina, survived the fire, and she just texted me something, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we got to get this on video. So, Ellie, so much for joining me today.
Yeah, again, thank you for having me. Always. You'll just drop it and say, "What's going on over there, Ellie?" So, thank you.
Any, yeah, anytime, anytime. So you texted me and I was like, oh my gosh, this is about the mayor over in Maui. What's going down over there?
Well, as we know, the process on a lot of levels, there's movement forward, but on a whole deeper part of it, there hasn't been, in reference to people not basically getting permits to build their homes back on their private home properties, specifically in Lahaina. So all sorts of things going on outside of Lahaina itself, but within the zone per se. People want to go, they want to come back home, and they're just not giving permits. So that's the hugest stumbling block. And really, I don't know why the county isn't answering those questions, aren't expediting those permits, aren't giving people solid answers, or even a simple plan of next steps and what they're working on currently, where they're none of that is forthcoming. And it's the frustration on a lot of levels where people are still literally in the dark wondering, and hence people are moving away, and that just is the worst thing. And again, this happened prior to fire, but now this has made it even worse. And when you have a 6 generational family who just packed up and left because they just can't hold out anymore, that is a prime example of, this administration during the campaign was saying Kama'aina prosperity. That totally is not the epitome of having Kama'aina prosperity, and then it's the
And
the local.
Kama'aina is somebody who lives on the land. So for people who don't know
Yeah,
what Kama'aina is, can you explain that?
right. Kama'aina is, well, it's people, yeah, of the land that are from here,
Mm,
and we're rooted. Kama'aina can also be someone who is transplanted, came from
mm,
elsewhere, but have lived here pretty much, most of their life. Like my husband, for example, 75 years of his life, straight out of high school at the age of 17, 18, he's never been back to California. He's lived here way longer than California. So although he's not local per se, he is, it's just most of his life has been spent
mm-hmm.
here. He is.
This is home.
So yeah, this is home, always has been, always will be. So that's Kama'aina. And Kama'aina prosperity, I'm I'm defining that as our people and you don't have to be Hawaiian, okay? Kama'aina for me isn't, in today's world, is you choose to make Lahaina, Maui, Nui your home. You are part of this community, and we want
Mm-hmm.
prosperity, health and happiness and all this stuff for you. And that I don't see happening in specifically Lahaina itself. So where is that?
And
And the other thing
I just
is,
wanted to say one more thing too. When I went to visit, I thought it was really interesting that there's still blockades around the whole entire Lahaina area, and the only people like you're not the only people allowed into the Lahaina area were people who live there, which that's there's nothing there. When I went there, there was nothing there. But what was even more concerning to me was that they said no photography, no video, like that takes away free speech. I mean, I just thought that was really interesting. I'm like, why? There's nothing here to even see. Everything's, gone. So I just thought that
right.
was interesting, but that's a side note. I'd love to get into your text. That was
Yeah,
crazy. What's going on?
that was a screenshot of comments on that app called Nextdoor. It's Nextdoor, and it's like there's South Maui next door, there's Lahaina next door, so that came from Lahaina next door. So it comes from people in Lahaina who have comments. So it's not Facebook, but it's its own little community, like sounding board, I think, like a bulletin board, so to speak, on social media. So that was just some comments that were posted on that, and then screenshotted and sent to me late last night. And I think I was dreaming about it or something, and woke up and and then reached out to you first off to say, check this out, right? And so I followed up with the person who sent it to me. And it comes from, again, here we got people who are transplanted. They're not born and raised here, but this is their home now. But yeah, so that screenshot of that post on Nextdoor is calling the mayor a murderer. It's not my words, but it's in that post, which alarmed me that people are thinking someone at least is thinking these thoughts. And, but the frustration is there in the sense, as I mentioned a little earlier, about how are you really helping the people of the people who the 2,200 lots got damaged, 2,200, not 100 million, just 2,200. And we know which are commercial, business, homeowners, investment properties. We know this at least. Now find out each individual home lot owner, regardless of what kind of lot, if it's a business or homeowner, rental property, what do you want to do right now? You want to rebuild? Let's check. We have you on our county, we have tax map keys. We mail you real property tax bills twice a year. So we know the square footage of your property. We know what kind of structure you have on your property. We know who the title deed holder is. And we know all this information, and just go lot by lot, name by name, and ask the question, what is your plan here? Oh, you're in a special management area. Okay, well, we're going to have to take a little closer look here. How would this affect whatever? You're on the shoreline. Okay, let's take a look at that. But you're up above across the highway, up on the hillside. You know what? Infrastructure, water, power, sewer is good to go. Go ahead. Rebuild your family home, please. Please, let's keep you here. Let's get you back in your business. Where was your business? What is your business? And now I'm hearing that the liquor licenses are being withheld. These people want to, maybe they can't go back to the specific land in Lahaina at this moment, but they want to open something up in Kihei, over in South Maui. Maybe they want to open something up in Central Maui, wherever, somewhere elsewhere. But that, to me, that liquor license should be given to them. But supposedly they're all being withheld right now. And why? Don't we want people to get back in business and to put money back into our economy, pay taxes for the government? I mean, I don't know. I just think it makes sense. The quicker we get people back on their feet and that normalcy and people's lifestyle back, everyone wins. You know what I mean? We start thriving again. Economy gets built up again.
Yeah.
Right. And I think one of the biggest, most important things is our mental health, and just our physical well-being improves.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I spoke to the former mayor of Kauai County the other day, and I thank her for giving me so much of her time to explain how it was. I called her because I wanted to know, how did you rebuild an entire island after it got totally destructed by Hurricane Iniki? And what she said? It was about taking care of the people first and foremost. Number one, she did start getting permits and things sussed out about who wants to rebuild, where do you want to rebuild, and build, and houses were popping up within 4 weeks. And it was her planning department that took initiative. She's not the end all, God, figure here that everyone has to follow, like some people are feeling is happening here. But she worked with, of course, collaborate. And her planning department really got it going. And that's what made it happen. But here's the one thing she thought was super important, and most people in her cabinet or administration didn't agree, first off. But she said, all of us are going to attend mental health counseling. We're all going to go and get debriefed about the situation. We're all going to assess each individual. Where are you at right now? How do you feel? Yeah. What are you thinking? What's happening with you? We need to take care of you so you feel enough and strong enough to take care of others, right? Isn't that common sense of what we all talk about? But if you don't just take the time to stop and reassess yourself, to understand what's going on within you. And I feel like, and she goes, you know what? She had corporation counsel. She had all her department head goes, I got too much to do. I'm not talking to a shrink. I don't got time to talk to a shrink. She goes, no, we're all going to do this. Everyone stop what you're doing and we're going to go through this. And they did. And everyone walked away feeling so much better, so
Yeah.
appreciative. And now they had better grounding, and I went through this situation myself. So there's all sorts of programs, but what I'm talking about is the actual administration, the mayor's cabinet themselves. They're at the top of the food chain making decisions or lack of decisions for all of us. They, from the start at the very top, need to check in on themselves first and foremost. Everything else will fall into place. So this is what former Mayor Joanne Yukimura said. Her cabinet, all her department heads, all her employees, everybody did this together, collect, as a ohana, basically, as a team. And they walked away so much lighter, so much more understanding, not just about themselves. Now they can think clearly and moving forward and making decisions on behalf of their community. And she goes, that was probably one of the biggest key things and experiences she took away from that incident that really made everything else fall into place. And if you think about it, that makes sense. And so she believes that this administration
and I find it interesting because the governor, first thing out of his mouth after the fire is like one of his first interviews was, I'm looking for ways for the state to acquire the land for workforce housing. He didn't say anything about the people. He didn't make sure that everybody was, housed and everybody was safe and had food and water. That was the first thing out of his mouth. And then this text that you sent me was people in Lahaina, this is from the next door neighbor, they believe that the mayor is a murderer. The guy even said on the text, murderer, and that Bisson was, I guess he was a judge, he was a former judge, and he was a follower, he's not a leader. So these people, they're mad, and they have every right to be. They have every right to be. And let me grab my book really fast, because I did write a book about this, you guys. And this is here, Great Maui Land Grab, What Caused the Maui Fire and Is Your Home Next? This is really important, not just for Maui, but also for everybody, because it talks about what the systems in place are, what their plan is. And it's something that people need to notice and to pay attention, because if we don't, our freedoms are up for grab right now. And it is important for us to be speaking out about this and doing what you're doing as far as moving things toward the legislative, like moving the bypass, getting that put in place, and also getting people back onto their property. So I think that's been really, really great that you've been doing that, and more to come. But if you guys want to get this book, Great Maui Land Grab, you can go to greatmauilandgrabbook.com, greatmauilandgrabbook.com, and it shares not just the Lahaina fire, but also Paradise and Tubbs, pictures from those, as well as who owns America and what's coming and what we can do about it, which is, I think, is definitely action. I'm always into action. I'm always into moving toward freedom and making sure that the truth is out there. So Ellie, thank you so much. Anything else you want to share about what's been going on?
I think the action are people like in that post that are upset need to turn that into a constructive action, as you talk about all the time, and really hold this administration accountable, for the questions that people have standing till today, meaning, why can't we get our permits and build back? Why? Like at the end of the day, yes, every lot now is going up for sale. People are leaving and leaving and leaving. And so it's just the saddest thing. But I want the answers as to why can't someone rebuild their home? And if it's something specific, how can they correct it or get up to code or whatever the question, the impediment is right now, and address it. It's, again, only 2,200 lots. That's not a whole lot, but we're a year later and not one property has been rebuilt. Not one till today. So, yep. and there's no answer.
A year later. Over a year now.
As to when. Yeah. Over a year. And you were there, you saw these lots, right? I go in there every day, and the people are like, we can't wait. they're popping up little makeshift storage units and gonna live out of it because they don't know what else to do, but they want to be home, which their
Yeah,
property is their
yeah.
home. Lahaina
Mhm.
is their home. So I think, people are talking about recall. I got my charter book out and I'm just reading, community initiatives and things that people maybe can do on their own collectively. So it makes an impact, and it holds this administration accountable to come outside of their lockdown ninth floor or wherever. Everything's locked down right now. The one thing I want to know is how many
Still,
employees
you
are
guys.
left. Oh yeah, still. How many, like the planning department used to be able to walk up and just hand, your paper through the window kind of thing. Now you have to make an appointment.
Mhm.
Everything's just closed off, locked down. You can't just walk in like a regular public building. You usually can, but not anymore. It's just
And that's really
something just
interesting
not
because
right.
you're supposed to. Absolutely. You're supposed to be able to. These are government agencies that are for the people. So they're not supposed to be locked down. You're not supposed to, you're supposed to have access to these
Mhm.
government agencies because they
Mhm.
work for us and they're
Mhm.
now being
Yeah.
locked down. So Lahaina is still in lockdown, you guys. It's crazy
Oh
over
yeah.
there. And again,
Yeah.
they're not allowing pictures or videos. And I did take a whole video thing of Lahaina, which I still need to get up. Lots of videos are coming my way right now. But Ellie, thank you so much for your time. And Lahaina
Of
people,
course.
keep sharing your truth. Keep sharing
Yeah.
how you're feeling and
Yeah. Have to.
contact the mayor. I think he should absolutely be recalled, especially when people were asking him questions and he's walking away. Like this one guy, I think it was Nick Sorter, who was asking him about the children, and I don't want to get into that topic, but he was asking the mayor about the children, and the mayor didn't even answer him. He just walked away from him. So he needs to be accountable and he needs to start telling the truth and speaking to the people because that is his job. His job was
Right.
to work for the people, and it doesn't
Right.
seem like they're doing that.
So I'm going to share this real briefly. Here's my first experience with this person. Um, and he asked me for a meeting. This is before campaign season started, really, for his mayoral, and I was running for state house. And he met me because I ran against his opponent, Victorino, former mayor Victorino. I ran against Victorino and lost in that election. Great, because COVID kicked in. I didn't want to be mayor then. I still don't. But so he asked me, he wanted some pointers, right? What's it like to run against Victorino? What did blah blah blah? I'm like, yeah, I'll meet with you. So we had lunch. And what I said was this. I don't know, to Rick Bisson. I don't know who you are, but what I do know is that you took an oath to uphold the law as a retired judge of 33 years. So should you become mayor, I will look to you to take care of all the illegalities in this county, which I knew there are, and there currently still is, because of the whole big bribery that went down when I was a council member. So I know this happens.
That's right.
And he didn't answer me. So to me, I mean, even lie to my face at this point. Say, yeah, of course, Ellie. Oh, by all, that is my duty. Or so, even if you're not gonna, just lie to me and say it. But it was dead silence, and we just kind of carried on. Since then, I have been given the cold shoulder all through that whole election season. It's like we may be in the same room and he'll just walk away to the other side of the room, like totally avoid eye contact, avoid everything. He will only walk up, like say hi or whatever to me if he had to. But other than that, it's a total, I can see him and people like Governor on the corner of my eye just totally avoid the crap out of me. Till today, they still do this. And so that was telling. That was also a red flag. And so the latest thing was his director for Office of Economic Development has been giving grants to her own son and husband. Now she's on administrative leave. Like, wait a minute. No, that there should be an investigation. That's illegal. That's beyond unethical. It's beyond immoral. It's like totally. So now, and this happens all the time. People in the county government break the law. They get let go pending investigation with pay. Then they just leave, lose their job. The punishment is losing your job, but you get to walk away with pension. You get to still just walk away scot free. This happens all day long. And so
Oh
we'll
my
see what comes
gosh.
out of this. But that was in Civil Beat a couple days ago. Headline news. So to me, I emailed that reporter, Blaze Lovell, and I said, good job, but dig deeper. Keep digging on this subject, because I believe it's just the tip of the iceberg.
Okay, so who is this? You're saying somebody was giving grants to their son and their husband?
So the director, Luana Mahi, I believe is her name. She is the director for Office of Economic Development. And that's like they give grants for economic development grants. And she's in charge, and she gave her son 65,000, $45,000 grant, something, and also her husband. So husband and son both got grants from her, which is beyond nepotism. I mean, this is like, wait,
Wow.
what? Yeah. And the grant was, if you go
Yeah.
to Kahului Airport, there's all these photos, like people who made a difference in Maui, Hall of Fame, Wall of Fame, whatever. And that was the grant
Yeah,
for
that's
him
right.
to that. That's what that was about. So now supposedly she's out of the job, left the job. They took her off the job pending ethics, pending ethics commission, whatever. But at the ethics board are a bunch of volunteers. There's just a
Oh gosh.
recommendation, right? They're not force and effective law at all. This should go to actual
Mhm.
law people. This is, you know, and that's not, as far as I know, that's not where it's at. But people, I tell you, the question, I want this county and the state to be audited somewhere, somehow, on the way bigger level. Because there's just things, I mean, I talked about how money's not tracked. I talked about, well, so then where is all the billions of dollars? People still want to know.
Yeah,
All the
yeah.
money
We had
that
a whole
supposedly
video on
came to
that.
Lahaina, where is it? You've been in Lahaina. Where is it? Where's the people?
Yeah. Yeah.
We could have had all that money divided
Yeah.
amongst
There you go.
2,200 lots. 2,200 lots. That's it. All the money that's given here divided by 2,200 families, lots, business, whatever, and figure each individual's issue, it would have been done by now. Infrastructure is good. At this point, we're
Hmm.
done with the
Hmm.
infrastructure part. Now we got
Millions have been given. Millions have been
billions.
given.
Yeah. Yeah. Just off the gate, 500 million from the state alone. That's not talking about FEMA and everybody else money. Okay. Or philanthropy, right? All the donations and everything. That's not talking about that money.
Hmm.
So where is it all? Because everybody should be back in place and at least on the road to recovery by now, a year later, over a year later. And it's not happening
So
still.
I'm curious if there's any action that we can take as people to um to get a court case or something involved here, because and to force these people to show their hands. But you're right about an audit. That's actually the where to go. That's actually where to go.
Something, I'm trying to get maybe a person new to the scene who wants to make a name for themselves or something, like an investigator, a big time a reporter who wants to make the big time, because this will happen. There
Mhm.
is stuff going down. I know it because I'm in it. I mean, I'm not part of the illegal, but I'm at the table where I can see. And obviously with the biggest bribery ring with the whole Milton Choice situation in Maui County, that was, I kept hounding and asking the question after question, and they kept lying and lying and lying. But you know what? Truth always prevails in the end. So,
It does.
whatever's going on, trying to cover up this, pay this person off, and all this stuff. The only people I know that have positive things to say about administration are ones who either have been appointed to a board, a commission, an advisory, a something to the administration, right? They're like, they're wonderful. Oh, that's all they care about is us, the community. Like, really? Yeah, because you've been appointed to some
Mm-mm.
whatever, and you're paid to say what you're saying, actually. But what about the everyday people who are just struggling
Mm.
and I'll now force them back into a corner to have to leave, their rooted lands? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm going to look into more about initiatives, whether ballot initiatives, what does a recall mean? People are asking the questions. This didn't just come off the top of my own head. This is coming off the top of this community's, heart and soul right
Hmm.
now. They just don't know
Obviously,
what to do.
obviously, because
They don't know
those
what to
texts,
do. They
yeah.
don't know, right? That post is telling. To even have those kind
Hmm.
of words thought in somebody's head about someone else is like, whoa. That's alarming and alerting. And
Hmm.
something needs to be done. I'm not going to ignore things like that. That's what I'm here for, to make sure. And we all serve the same constituency base. Whether
Yeah,
you're
exactly. Yeah.
state or county, we all serve the same person at the end of the day on different levels. So, it's not, oh, that's
Yeah.
you, that's no. We all supposed to collaborate together on our different levels to help this community.
Hmm.
And that's just everyone's lack of community. I just talked to a FEMA guy. He's like, yeah, the communication's not really good. I'm like, yeah, you think? What communication, dude? So I see him in Lahaina, I saw him the other day by the church, and I was like, hey, new guy. Gotta keep us in the loop here, and we'll do the same for you. We'll keep you in the loop too. But open lines of communication, what people are doing, that has to happen now. So yeah,
Yeah,
we'll follow up. I'll talk
absolutely.
to you offline on how we can maybe pinpoint exactly what we want. Is it a petition? Is it a a
Great.
ballot initiative? Is it a what? I don't
Hmm.
really know at this point, but something has to give, because we can't just keep sitting and waiting and wondering. Just can't do
Sitting
it.
and waiting, and how and this whole
Sitting
blocked,
and
it's
waiting.
still blocked. The entire thing of line is still blocked. And I just
Yeah,
find that, and nothing is going on. Like nothing is
nothing.
happening in there.
And you know what? I thinking that's the reason why they don't want eyes and ears inside, because nothing is going on. If people went in there and
Mm.
said, well, why is all this just sitting here? What next? Can we
Sitting
start
there.
laying foundations? Can we start popping up houses? No. And here's the thing. If you recall all that gray gravel on all the cleared lots, you can't lay foundation on that
That's right.
gravel. Nobody has to lay that foundation down. They're doing it under the guise that it's for erosion control. Okay, I see that. All right, flatland, whatever, erosion control. But now, when someone wants to go and lay a foundation down for their new home, they got to remove all that gravel on their own dime and time, by the way, hire a truck, remove it all, put it in the truck, and go take it somewhere. One guy the other day, and he goes, I'm not getting any answers, Ellie. And he hired a truck to remove the gravel he didn't put down there. Then he called to say, where can I take this gravel? They're like, we don't know. Wait, what? He goes, plus, we're not taking it. There's someplace in Kihei, South Maui, like other side of the island. You can take it there. Yeah, okay. And plus, we need to make sure it's not contaminated. He goes, contaminated? Why would it be? The lot was cleared, the soil's been tested, and then you laid this fresh gravel, looks brand new, gravel down, and now you're telling me it has to be tested?
It is.
Okay, wait a minute. Where did it get contaminated? By what and who? Nobody. So here's what people are going through on the most simplest level,
Wow.
but also on the level to where you can't move anywhere. You can't take the next steps because you got to deal with this dumb gravel now that you never put there. So I'm just saying, every day it's another frustration situation that people just are at wit's end, beyond the wit's end. I don't know what's after wit's end,
Yeah.
but it's like, it's not a laughing matter.
I know, I
You know
get
what?
it.
People are committing suicide. They don't talk about that. From the early days, there was 7 just in the first few
That's right.
months of this happening. I lost track.
I
I'm
remember.
not even. It's sad. The homeless camp place by the airport, 4 people killed themselves there. So does that isn't there something going on here? And I forwarded it to the homelessness
Hmm.
coordinator of the state, and no answer there. And we set up a whole tour. I wanted to go walk these facilities with the director who can make the decisions. That morning, that tour got canceled. I'm like, I showed up. A couple other people from other islands showed up for this tour to go and get a grip on what's going on with the homelessness coordinator. It still hasn't been rescheduled. It was supposed to, but the point was, like, I wasn't alerted this was canceled. Were you told? This guy flew in from Honolulu? He's like, no, that's why I'm here. I'm like, that's why I'm here. This is the kind of thing. It's just frustrating from end to end. You know, I, I don't know what to say and do, because no one's hearing me out but you and your followers and the people of the town. I'm just, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. If you're watching, please join standtogetherhawaii.com, because I know that there is a higher power, and I know that it inspires us to do what's our kuleana, what is ours to do, what we can do. This is how Ellie and I have gotten together, and then she'll text me and we get on these videos. I know that there's an action. I know that there's somebody out there who knows the next step. And you can email me. The link is my email is always in the description, as well as Stand Together Hawaii is always in the description. So I think our job right now is to keep getting the truth out. The Lahaina people believe their mayor's a murderer. That's actually in the next door neighbor thread. So
Post.
they
Yeah.
know what's going on. In the next door neighbor post. So again, we're going to do a quick prayer here, and we're just going to keep trusting. We're going to keep bringing the truth out. Truth is like trying to hold water. You cannot hold it. It goes through your fingers, it comes out, and it is going to be coming out more and more and more. So we're just going to keep speaking the truth and letting people know what's going on, and then trusting in our higher power, and trusting if you're watching this and you know an action we can take against these literal criminals and people who are absolutely not allowing people back to their homes, still have Lahaina shut down with barricades. You can't go through. There's nothing happening there. So if you know an action that we can take, please contact me, and we'll move it forward. We'll move it forward, and that's what our kuleana is. That's what our job is just trusting this higher power to take the next step and give us the inspiration of what to do next. So Ellie, thank you so much for your time. And is there any last words you want to share?
Thank you. And thanks to everybody for listening and hearing this out. Just, stay strong, be vigilant. Let's band together as a unified voice to, to uncover the truth and make it heard, and some action taken to address, all the wrongdoings that are occurring daily. So
Daily, pretty
that's
much.
it. No,
Okay.
really daily.
All
Yeah.
right. Let's
Okay.
do a
Thank
quick
you.
prayer. Great Spirit, infinite intelligence of all things. You see so much more than we do. We are just having a human experience. We're having our souls are in these human vessels, and we're having this human experience, and we don't see everything, but you do. And Great Spirit, we're just so grateful for all the inspiration that you touch our hearts and our souls and our voices of what is ours to do and what we can do. And we just ask right now, we just know that you are inspiring people from around the world, people who know what to do next, to inspire them to help us take action or teach us what to do next. And we will do it because we know we are strong through you, Great Spirit. We have the inner strength, we have the courage to do what needs to be done. And Great Spirit, we know that that path of allowing people back to their homes, that path of seeing people, of seeing Lahaina being rebuilt for the people, for the people whose land it is. We see that happening. We don't know how, but we know through you, we will be guided. And we honor that guidance, and we open up our hearts to that guidance. And we also know that anybody who is in power right now who does not value the truth and who does not value human life, that they are peaceably removed from office, or that they voluntarily step down. And we get to watch that. We get to watch as all the people who are in Maui County, who are in the state of Hawaii, that are corrupt, that they no longer have power, and it's peaceful. And we see that now. We call that in, that the state of Hawaii is lit up with the vibration of love, of ohana, of absolute inner strength, that we are going through this together, and that Lahaina is being rebuilt with love and with intention of being a place of unity for the Hawaiian people, for all people who value aloha in our hearts and who value human life. We call that in right now, Great Spirit. We know it is done. We know it is so. We give so much mahalo right now to Ellie and to all people like her who are in a place of influence, that they can and are speaking their truth and are following their own inner guidance to take action and do what they can do and what they have been called to do. We know that that is done, Great Spirit. We give so much gratitude. We know that she is always guided and always protected. Light workers are always being guided through their hearts and are always protected by millions and billions and trillions of angels that surround them. Thank you so much, Great Spirit. We know it is done, and we see Lahaina being rebuilt in such a beautiful way. We see people coming back who are native Hawaiians and that this is their land by generations upon generations. We know that that is done. We see the beauty of what is unfolding right now in Lahaina, in Maui, in the state of Hawaii. We know it is done, Great Spirit. Thank you so much. And so it is. Ellie, thank
So
you so much for all
yeah.
you do. And
Well, and you
keep
too.
texting.
That's yeah, you just willing to get out there. I know it takes time to edit and create your little videos, but they make an impact for sure. So I appreciate that. And we can't forget that we have that Aloha Spirit law. There is actually a law in the books
That's right.
about
That's
aloha.
right.
And it's like codified in law. So if you're not moving forward with aloha, you're breaking the law. So
And
anyway,
maybe that's the action that we should take too,
maybe
is calling these forward people
to
on the fact that they're
uphold the
breaking the
Aloha
Aloha
Spirit
Spirit law.
law. Uphold the Aloha Spirit law. Yeah. So I was gonna pull that up and read it word for word and really digest it and know it and use it and say, okay, but listen, that's not in line with the Aloha Spirit law. So, anyways, that could be it's something positive moving forward.
Yeah,
Yeah.
give
We'll
me an
accept the
action
law.
for it and we'll put it out.
Sounds good. Yeah, let me take a look at it and then we'll figure something out from that. But cool.
Awesome. All
All
right,
right.
everyone.
Well,
Much aloha
thanks.
to you.
Be safe, everyone. I know you folks are getting the brunt of this storm right now, and it's getting darker and heavier here in Lahaina too. So let's all just stay safe and be well.
Yep, absolutely.
Alrighty.
Absolutely. Mahalo for that. Aloha.
Aloha. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
But intact.
Look at this here. This is so interesting. What
This was a shopping mall.
shopping mall
Fun for
is
five.
gone, but what is this huge building that is completely intact without a scorch on it?
Lahaina Shores.
Lahaina Shores Beach Resort, completely intact. 100% intact, everybody,
For some
with the
reason,
palm trees.
Don't know why. And then the houses next
But the
door
house is right next to it.
Actually, right next to it are still there too.
Oh, okay.
That's
the ones right next to it
that's
are
a park
still
on the
there. But this huge building, huge. All the glass, everything is still intact. Oh, it's got the Wi-Fi up there. It's got the 5G probably up there on the top. But anyway,
Don't know if it has water, but and then these homes here were salvaged. These are the
these
few.
beach homes, beach front homes salvaged.
The ones right across the street are gone.
The ones right across the street from the beach houses are gone. They're totally gone, but their trees are still up. But they're gone, and these houses right next to beachfront houses are up. Palm fronds survived. Survived.
Soul House survived.
One house survived. And this house survived. No, this one's gone, but the one behind it has survived. Palm fronds still there. Banana trees are still there. Banana trees. They have dried, majorly dried leaves still there, even though it's been a year. It's been a year, and I don't see any singe marks on them at all. Not on the roots. Here we go. Here's some singe marks. But
Looks like bamboo.
that looks like bamboo. Leaves are still there, dried up.
Might have been a reef, I'm not sure. Yeah, the banana trees actually held out throughout.
The banana, she says the banana trees held out throughout.
They're moist, very moist on the inside. So
Yeah.
that's why. I don't know.
That's interesting. Gone. Banana trees still up.